Welcome. We're going to do a little bit of super gentle movement. We'll do some breathing and we'll settle into this idea of owning your power and taking up space, taking up enough space, taking up all the space you need. But first, we'll settle in. So, wiggle or adjust or shake it out. They say that just the act of shaking and moving, dancing, adjusting can really change the energy in your body. So we can shake off anything that has already happened today or anything that's been lingering in our mind from this past week. And we can put ourselves into a new mindset, and a mindset of optimism, of silliness, of introspection. And introspection doesn't have to be serious. It can be a sort of game. It can be an enjoyable process of observing, of checking our thoughts, because so often our thoughts are not based in reality. They might not even be true, or they're just patterns that we repeat over and over rather than really assessing, like, oh, is this a good thought to be nourishing my brain and my body with? So, all right, let's start with some gentle movements, tipping the head forward, chin to the chest. We'll stay here for 2 breaths. In and out through the nose, gentle, easy breaths. And then shift the head to look down at that right pocket. You'll feel the stretch move probably into the right shoulder, upper back, neck. 2 breaths here. And then dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, feeling the stretch along the left side of the neck, dropping the shoulders, relaxing here. It should be enjoyable. If it's too much, then come out a little bit. No need to self-flagellate. Keep it comfortable. Couple breaths here. And then get nice and tall in the spine and look up towards the ceiling. You might feel a stretch in the upper back, pushing down through the hips and lifting up through the crown of the head. And then left ear to left shoulder, feeling the stretch down the right side of the neck. 2 breaths here. Looking down towards the right pocket, feeling the stretch move. And then finally back, chin to chest. You can round the spine if you want. You can press into the thighs, press the feet into the ground if you're in a chair. And then we'll come into our seated cow pose, taking up lots of space, opening the chest, shining the heart forward, getting tall, looking up, shoulders down, maybe a little bit back, making sure you can still breathe. And then moving through cat-cow with the breath, exhaling into cat pose and inhaling through to cow pose. Take this at your pace. You might go faster or slower than me, depending on how your body feels today and how your breath is today. Articulating the spine. You might feel or hear some pops or clicks. That's all fine as long as it's not accompanied by pain. We never want to do anything that's causing pain. Stretching is different. Stretching is okay. Stretching sometimes has an aspect of discomfort, but it never feels sharp. If you feel something that says, ow, back off, do something different. Come back in slowly and gently. We'll do one more round like this. Coming forward, opening the chest, looking up into cow. And then one more cat, arching the spine, tucking the chin, tipping the hips. Then come back into a nice neutral seated position, maybe gently rolling the wrists one direction and the other direction. And then we'll move the spine left and right, coming into a side bend. Keep it easy. You can rest the hand on the head, or you don't even need the hand at all. You just to feel a little bit of elongation along from the hip to the armpit. And then using their strong abs to come up through center, and then doing the same on the other side. Again, you can put your arm in the air, or put the hand on the head, or simply have the hand on the hips or the waist, feeling the stretch down the opposite side of the body. And then using your abdominal muscles to come back to a nice neutral position, and taking a minute to do any other movement that would feel really nice in your body. So for some people, it's moving the jaw or yawning. Maybe a twist would feel good in your spine today. Maybe it's stretching out the legs or pointing and flexing the toes. Maybe it's some shoulder rolls. Ask your body, what do you need today? What would make things a tiny bit better? And then move intuitively. It doesn't have to be a specific pose, or you can move however the muse moves you. And then when you're ready, there's no rush, but when you're ready, we'll feather our nests. We'll get really cozy. Now I invite you to take up space. So wherever you're sitting, or if you're lying down, if you're on the mat, if you're on the floor, really allow your hips to sink into what's beneath you. Allow your shoulders to be open but away from the ears. Maybe you'd like to spread the feet a little wider than hips width. And maybe you'd like to open the arms. So if you're someone like me and you often rest the hands on the lap, maybe you experiment with what it feels like to take up a little more space, putting the hands beside you or out a little bit. Maybe sitting up half an inch taller. And there's no problem if you want to tuck something behind the low back for support. That's warmly welcome. We want you to be comfortable and relaxed, yet still alert. So finding this nice, neutral, alert, taking up space position. You can close your eyes if you like, or you can find a drishti, a single point of focus. You can make the eyes go a little fuzzy as we turn inward. Notice how your body feels. Externally, what is the body touching? Maybe you feel your clothes on your skin. Maybe you feel the pressure where your hips touch the chair, or your feet touch the floor, or whatever is beneath you. Maybe you can feel your hair on your neck. And then I'll invite you to go internally. Are you having any internal sensations? Something might feel numb or tingly. Something might feel hot or cold. Sometimes we have stomach rumbles, or maybe there's a little bit of discomfort that you can simply acknowledge and say, discomfort. Stiffness. And then we'll try to breathe a little bit of ease into the body. Taking a big breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Just arrive where you are. One more like this. Big breath in. And a sigh through the mouth. If you are working with an intention or a mantra and you want to repeat it out loud, now's a great time to do so. If you want to borrow mine, I'm going to use I'm allowed to take up space today. I'm allowed to take up space, as much space as I need. I am allowed to take up space. So send your intention out to the universe. Let the universe help conspire to make it so. And I'll invite you to join me in a 2-part inhale, long exhale breathing pattern. It goes into the belly, into the chest, and a long, slow exhale. Make sure your body is comfortable into the belly, into the chest, and then relaxing into your comfortable seat. If this isn't working, go back to simply noticing the breath. If you like this breathing pattern, continue with it, and I'll call you back in a minute. One more round like this. There's absolutely no rush into the belly, into the chest, and a long, slow exhale. Let the breathing return to normal. How does the body feel? Is there any place that has become a little tight or constricted that you can allow to open up, to take up more space, to ease into a position that feels luxurious, that feels sustainable, that feels good in your body? If there's anything that would help make you feel more comfortable, make a mindful adjustment. Do that now. And then I'll invite you to pay attention to the feet. Simply feel where the feet are in space, how far apart or close together they are to one another, which part of the feet are touching the earth beneath you. And then pay extra attention to the right foot. Any sensations coming up here? I'll invite you to put a tiny bit of pressure into that right foot to increase the feeling between the foot and the earth. And relax. And we'll do that one more time, increasing the pressure between the foot and the earth, even by a tiny amount. And then relaxing. Bringing your attention to both feet and seeing if there's a difference between the right side and the left side. There might be, there might not be. It is not better or worse to have it be one way or the other. We're just paying attention. We're noticing, identifying, and being equanimous about that notice. That's how that is today. Or, that's what I'm feeling, without a value judgment. And then put the attention into the left foot. Notice where the left foot is touching the earth. Notice any internal or external sensations. And then we'll add a little bit of pressure, pushing the left foot into the earth, feeling that slight change, and relax. And then one more time, adding a bit of pressure, pressing the left foot into the earth. And then relax. And then one more time, comparing the feeling of the left foot to the right foot. Has it changed? Is it the same? Can you let the hips splay even more? Can you let the knees widen? Can you take up more space? Maybe a yawn would be good here, inhaling and exhaling with a wide open mouth. We'll do another yawn and turn it into lion's breath next. So big inhale and a yawn. And if you're not familiar with lion's breath, we're simply going to take a big inhale and exhale through an open mouth, sticking the tongue out if you like. It looks like this. And feel free to make it audible, make it loud, make it take up space, inhaling through the nose. And a big lion's breath on the exhale. And then one more in your own time, however that looks for you, inhaling and exhaling, tongue out, mouth open, audible exhale. And then come back to the belly, letting the breath be natural, however feels good in your body, letting the belly be really soft, letting it take up space. And maybe you can feel the breath in the belly, and it doesn't have to be significant. We're not looking to balloon out the stomach, but just a little rise as you inhale and the diaphragm goes to work, and a little sinking the belly back towards the spine as you exhale. You might pair it with a mantra. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. Or you might go back to the intention you set at the beginning of our time together. I'm allowed to take up space. I am allowed to take up space. And breathe like this gently, easily, watching the stomach for another minute. Then we'll expand the inhale, inhaling more deeply, longer, exhaling fully, slowly, completely. And if it feels good in your body, holding the breath out, squeezing the abs towards the spine, squeezing out more and more air. And then when you develop that little bit of air hunger that says, I must breathe now, letting the breath come in slowly, deliberately, gently. And I invite you to stretch your arms out to the side, getting as wide as possible. And then cross one arm over the other and give yourself a big hug, a squeeze. Remind yourself that you're allowed to take up space. Your needs are genuine and deserve to be met. And then we'll open up the arms again, really wide. Cross the opposite arm on top and give yourself a nice big hug. And then bring some movement into the rest of the body, maybe the hips, the legs, the feet, gently, easefully. Maybe a little twist or shoulder shrug. Maybe opening and closing the hands. And then if your eyes are closed, when you're ready, there is no rush. You can open your eyes. Thanks for practicing with me today.